Hi, this is Media Mike. The key to helping an anarcho fighter make you the perfect media release is the quotes and credentials you offer him. It's not about familiar quotes or words from famous people. It's the words the media will quote in your story. These quotes should be from you or other people in your operation and potentially the people who benefit from what you do in your business, cause, or event. Watch this 6-minute video on how to give great quotes. Then I'll be back with another great tip.
Hello, this is Mark Mason helping you be the talk of the town with amazing quotes that get in print. In this lesson, you're going to discover the 4 soundbite success systems and 4 reminders to be in the quotable mindset, as well as my number 1 tip for being a great quote giver. Let's look at the 4 soundbite success systems now. The first is the rhyme scheme. Whenever you can give a quote that is melodic and perhaps has an actual rhyme to it, it's very likely to get into print. We all remember, unless you were under a rock, the great line from The Attorney, "If the glove don't fit, you must acquit." This kind of easy off the tongue, this rolling off the tongue, sing-song-like quotation buries itself deeply in the minds and memories of others. The second system is the Valley Girl system, and if you're old enough to remember that character or that time when girls were described as going, "Oh my God, Tubular, really like, totally awesome, okay." If you remember that time, the idea of the like and as is a tremendous way to give a quote. There's another PR expert who was talking about trends and the way in which trends change and reverse, and sometimes reverse on us very quickly, described a future moment when we'd be looking back at the wearing of Crocs in the following way. She said, well, it won't be too long, maybe as many as 10 years from now, we'll be looking back and saying, do you remember when we all wore those shoes that made us have ugly Flintstone-like feet? Did you hear the like? Ugly Flintstone-like feet. It is so quotable. It also has a second quotation effect from the rhyme scheme, which is alliterative. It uses Flintstone feet. The repeating of a letter, a common consonant sound, will also help you get in quotes, especially if the quotes are for radio or television. Your third quote strategy is the cliche reshape. So, of course, you want to avoid cliches like the plague, and yes, of course, I just used one there to make the point. Cliches are to be avoided. We've heard them all. Because we've heard them all, they are memorable in and of themselves, but they don't make you memorable. Now, a client who created Rube Goldberg devices used this strategy of a cliche reshape. When asked, how on earth does he do this? He said, well, it simply takes blood, sweat, and gears. Blood, sweat, and gears obviously being a play off of blood, sweat, and tears. And frankly, had he said, oh, it's a process of blood, sweat, and tears, everyone would have said, well, yeah, of course it is. But once he said blood, sweat, and gears, it became a winning quote that was going to go the distance. Your final soundbite success system is to bring some levity to the situation. Had a client who was running for politics but also had a business and had hired a social media company who began purchasing Twitter followers, many of which were fake Twitter accounts. And there had become a mix-up in the social media company where they were getting the fake Twitter followers for his politician Twitter account rather than his regular business. And this became quite a brouhaha. He was a politician out of Canada. And so he was invited to respond to this on national television, was very nervous. So we did some media training together, and in about an hour we got him all prepped up for what to do, what to avoid, and how to win that situation. And by far one of the best quotes that we trained him to use was when the subject came up, and as often as possible, end his comments with the following comment. The good news is Twitter accounts don't vote. After all, the real issue, what someone is truly concerned about, is voter integrity in the campaign. Yes, there was a mistake. Yes, it's going to be corrected. But the good news is fake Twitter accounts don't vote. That was a winning quote, turned the media around to even be his friend in this presentation. He was very worried it was going to go otherwise. Now, the quotable mindset is pretty simple. You want to be memorable. Remember, if the memory is engaged, if you are emotional, so be emotional. If you are familiar to them, so be a mind reader. Seem to almost know how they feel and think about it. And of course, ultimately, be a lifelong learner yourself. These elements are all going to come together to make you highly quotable. Now, what do I mean by be a lifelong learner? This actually gets to the deepest and best tip I can give you for being highly quotable. Number one, read a lot more newspapers. Underline good quotes and dissect them. Number two, consider taking a course in improvisational skills. That's a way to be a great learner. By having improvisational skills, you're going to learn to use humor effectively to bring that levity, and you're going to be quick and nimble of mind and on your feet when a question comes at you that you hadn't thought about it or really prepared for. And then, of course, by being a lifelong learner, you're going to plug into and listen to radio and news and television, and you're going to begin to see these patterns before you. And you're going to be able to pull out of your great repertoire of experience. After all, if you're going to use the Valley Girl like or as experience, you want to have a broad, sticky mind with lots of information. And with these strategies and ways of being in place, you are going to become the talk of the town. Bye for now.
Now let's talk credentials. Have you won relevant awards? How many years or days have you been in the field? Do you have a surprising background? Are you an author, etc.? If you have troubles or cannot think of answers, your media release expert will work as much magic as possible. Ultimately, you get the best when you give your best. Well, that does it for me, your representative future media interview. Media Mike, signing off.